social media. I am Steve Ludwig, also known as Mr. Insurance. Today, I'm going to talk to you about understanding the Vermont registration loophole and just how everything kind of works with that. So do you have a car but no title? You might be able to get your state to issue a new title by taking advantage of the Vermont registration loophole. So here's how it works. The state of Vermont has an unusual set of car registration laws on the books. In Vermont, you don't have to be a resident to legally register a car with the state. If the car is at least 15 years old, Vermont doesn't issue a title. They do registrations on those cars, not titles. In Vermont, the registration on a 15-plus-year-old car itself constitutes proof of ownership. That is, the registration on these cars serves the same function as a title. And you don't even have to be present in Vermont to register your car. You can register your car in Vermont by mail using only a bill of sale. This can be very useful for people elsewhere in the country. People often use the Vermont registration loophole to get their own non-Vermont state to issue a new title via the transfer of title method. So here's the process. If you have a car at least 15 years old, you can register it in Vermont by mail using a Vermont form VD 119. Once your registration is complete, Vermont will send you a vehicle tag and a stamped copy of your VD 119. Bring that form in with a valid state ID in your state, and you can normally get the title transferred to a brand new title issued by your home state. The Vermont registration loophole has saved car, truck, business, RV, and ATV owners untold time and hassle by streamlining the issuance of titles that would otherwise be very difficult to obtain due to the lack of paperwork. This can easily happen to people who inherit a car from a deceased or incapacitated family member, and loads of classic car collector and car owners have been making use of Vermont registration loopholes for many years. So, is my car eligible? To use the Vermont registration loophole, your car has to be eligible, and here's how. It must be at least 15 years old. It must be properly equipped and in good mechanical condition. If the car's in parts or missing an engine or transmission, you probably can't use the Vermont registration loophole. You must have liability coverage on your vehicle when you register in Vermont. For that, you can call me at 855-GET-SELECT, and you can speak to any of my trained and licensed insurance agents all across the country. So who should consider using the Vermont registration loophole? Using the Vermont registration loophole can be very useful if you want or need to get your car or motorcycle street legal so you can drive it, but you're missing some of the paperwork on it, such as a title. Potential tax benefits of Vermont vehicle registration. Vermont, like Massachusetts, assesses sales taxes on the low NADA book value. Normally, Vermont assesses a 6% sales tax on vehicle purchase, subject to a $500 purchase price minimum. However, non-Vermont residents don't have to pay the sales tax on their cars they purchase in Vermont. But be prepared. Some states frown upon the practice, believing that some people use the Vermont registration loophole to evade paying sales tax on car purchases. Also, you should be truthful about where you have the car marketed. If you're living in and garaging your car in Massachusetts, New Hampshire, or elsewhere out of state, you could get in trouble with your own state's revenue officials if they find out. But be prepared. Some states frown upon the practice, believing that some people use the Vermont registration loophole to evade paying sales tax on car purchases. For the best chance of success and to minimize the likelihood of having your title application kicked back by your home state, it will help if your vehicle has never been registered in your home state and that it's never been titled in your name. Otherwise, the VIN number may generate an alert for DMV workers who may block the registration until you can provide more documentation. Some states or county tax collectors have also flagged all title requests using Vermont registration documents, though in some cases the policy is short-lived. Indiana, Ohio, and Pennsylvania, for example, have been all taking a close look at title requests based on Vermont registrations. The technique is more likely to work if the vehicle has never again been titled in your state. If you attempt to use the Vermont loophole with a vehicle with a VIN number that's been previously titled in your state, the VIN will throw a red flag. and your state may block the registration, requiring you to provide more documentation. However, if you're living in and garaging your car in Massachusetts, New Hampshire, or elsewhere out of state, you could get in trouble with your own state's revenue officials if they find out. So here's some tips. Don't drive in your state with an out-of-state tags if you aren't a Vermont resident. Yes, Vermont will send you a set of plates once you register your car with them, but that does not mean that it's legal for you to drive around with them on your car. So don't do it. If you already have a resident of another state, you will probably need to get your new state's tags in order to be fully street legal. So complete the process in your state rather than drive illegally with your out-of-state Vermont tags. Number 2, bring the Vermont informational bulletin with you to your DMV when you apply for a title. Don't assume that your local DMV drone will automatically know how to process a Vermont registration. Most don't know what in Vermont a registration is equivalent to a title. The bulletin will explain to your DMV clerk what they're looking at when you present your VT 119 form and how to properly process it. Number 3, obtain a VIN verification. Vermont will require a VIN verification document, which you can get from your insurance company or from your local police department. So if you have any other additional questions, information, or anything you need to have answered, please leave your comments and questions down below. I'll answer back as quickly as I can. But again, until next time, I hope this helped you guys out, and we will talk to you soon. Thanks again.